It'd be all right too.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. So we'll call the Account and Finance Committee meeting to order at 3:35 on account of Mr. Nash being late. You know, just kidding. Just kidding. Probably be the only time we have any humor all day. As usual, for the record, for the public, Ms. Hardy, all your paperwork and your agendas and all, very much appreciated. We come rushing in here from our other lives, and you have it laid out for us, and I can't stress enough how much I appreciate it and how bad you make the town manager look. So we've had all my humor today, so now we'll go on.
Do you say how bad or how good it makes you?
No, how bad?
You tell me about the pay cut?
Yeah, that's forthcoming.
That's in the
Please, give me a reason.
All right, Mr. Nash, Councilman Moncur and the manager and I met today earlier. Kind of just happened, and we talked about. Does Mr. Nash have this?
That's the.
Yeah.
You've got about the hotel development additional expenses.
And,
We just kind of talked before we get into the agenda. I want to make sure you sort of kind of agree with before we head over to Nottaway. The way I look at it, the first 5 items, we'll really have to work hard to get that done, and we might end up with two policemen instead of 4, and we might end up with not a new garbage truck, but instead of buying a new garbage truck every 5 years, we'll have to do it every 3 years. There'll be some expense. I'm not sure, but I don't know if there's going to be any gamesmanship today over there. There's going to be any, back and forth. But I'm, with your blessing, the two of y'all and a manager, well, absolutely all of us. If all of us agree, we say, look, we're not interested in playing games. This is the most monumental event that's happened to the county in I don't know how many years since the National Guard moved here, actually.
I can tell you, I mean, we don't have any room to
No.
be bargaining ourselves.
I don't want to play any games with them. I'm not willing to give them, the only valid claim they can make is that 10% of what we had assumed we were going to get in lodging tax, they'll be losing 2%, but we don't have that. There's nothing for us to give. As a matter of fact, we're going to have to raise taxes. We're going to cut corners to do the first 5 bullets, but we need a county-funded ladder truck. We've got an engine and air packs that are breathing down our neck. Now, if the county would much rather find, just take, you can have all 3 fire departments and you fund them and you deal with it. That's great. But I think just roughly the town of Blackstone citizens contribute about $400,000 a year plus apparatus. Is that
Plus,
about right?
That doesn't include what the department themselves
That's what I'm talking about.
fundraises. And
Right,
they
right,
pay.
right. And I don't even want to know what that number is.
They do a decent.
Well, let's
amount.
don't talk about that number because the reason is I've had some people say they don't need any money. So I don't want to talk about that number. That number's, I'm a little different than the mayor wanting to know how much the boot drive was and all that. I don't care. I'm just thankful, let alone these guys work for nothing and then they turn around and they pay for the rent money too.
Well,
You know?
looking at the garbage employee deal and the garbage truck, will we have at the Fast C itself? Is that going to be our responsibility at Fast C? Are we going to pick up garbage out there too,
If they choose.
if they choose?
Our policy is if they choose for us to do it, and I would assume they're going to ask us to do that. I would
They
assume.
haven't yet.
They have not made a direct
Okay.
request. I would assume they're going to ask us to do it, and if they do,
They're going to pay the out of town.
they got to pay the antenna.
They may even, seeing how it's GSA and State Department, the state police sort of had the wiggle room to just seek us out. They may put it up for bid, and I don't see how anybody privately could come in here and beat you.
State police couldn't.
No.
Yeah.
They put it out to bid, and we were happy to give what we got, and we were probably happy with what it was. Because
So-
we're so close by.
But-
I dare say you're right, they probably put it out to bid, but they
Do
haven't
you-
approached us and said, we
Do
need
you
to
think
go.
we as a town should compete and let them bid it, and if they don't, then they can come to us?
Well, I'm
don't think we
speaking.
should
I'm
compete with
speaking
private
from.
sector.
I think it's a great question, and I'm speaking from my 1/7 of the position. Generally, I'm more libertarian than I am Republican, and I think we shouldn't be getting into business. But there's no one in the private sector that could even, there's no way that you could profit and do it to the standards. I mean, you know, an old retired man could go out there and make 8 or 10, 12 pickup loads a day, but it's not gonna be the standards they expect. They're gonna expect the dumpsters to look neat, clean and all. I don't think they're interested in that.
Problem is, in the private sector, there's just not a lot of competition in garbage collection
Right.
here in this rural area.
Right.
Chesterfield, you have it around here.
Yeah, so
A lot of
in
trips
this
around
case,
the
I don't think they would consider it. I think they would have to have someone that has a certain amount of reputation and,
within this area.
yeah, and that's not gonna happen. So if you get somebody out of Richmond, you just can't drive out here and pick up trash from your
Yeah.
weekend, so basically, I think we just,
The problem, they need a special pickup,
sure,
or something out of Richmond is almost impossible to do.
exactly. So, and it may be, you know, we have to work out something with them like we did the state police where we had to furnish the dumpsters and, you know, they had to buy the dumpsters that fit our trucks and all that. No, man, this is not gonna work. But basically the way that the three of us talked about it earlier is, you know, it's gonna take a Herculean task for us to do the other 5 with the dwindling revenues. But this ladder truck is out of the question. And it's gonna take all we can do to fund these air packs and this new engine.
And I mean, I don't want to be the bad one, but a ladder truck is it a necessity? Because the fire department themselves even said, and they're gonna may shoot me because they could be watching, but I mean, we can't go up but 10 more foot on a ladder truck. That's the biggest they make. Yeah, you'll get a newer one, but and I asked the other day, I said, well, where would we house it? They said, we get rid of the current one. So you'd only have one.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Okay, I don't want to get into it on how we acquired that truck, but I think heads should have rolled. Okay, I think some people that was the most incredible situation. I was on the council
It was before I came
when
around.
we acquired it.
If I were on, I'd been like,
Okay,
What's the
so
intention from the fire department with it?
So-
They've asked for $1 million.
that's why I don't understand. And
okay, but
I guess
here's
they're
my
just trying to
point.
get a new truck out of it.
Well, that one needs to go. That one needs to go to scrap because every time I turn around, we're
Constant.
spending money on it, and it's not reliable. And it frightens me to send that truck to Burkeville if they call because the comfort end's on fire.
It's being ladder tested today, so who knows what it's going to cost us
And-
today.
okay, and then the next thing you know, they're gonna want hose. I mean, it's worse than a boat. I told them, you know what boat stands for? Bust out another 1,000. That's what that thing is. It's worse than a boat. So, I don't know how you take a chance. I'm sorry, Mr. Manager. I don't know how you take a chance not having a ladder truck with a multi-story hotel out there with 50, 60 lives. that
They
drive.
want a ladder truck. I mean,
So,
That is the plan. That's in the plan.
yeah.
so
Now another thing, and this may just be me being dumb, but since they've already gotten our commitment to hook up,
no. I mean,
what is this to them?
They
I mean,
haven't got our.
they hadn't got our commitment. The only thing we left them there was we'd like to see it done. We haven't signed anything. We have
told
no
them,
obligation.
We told them because Mr. Gomez was asking. We told them, yeah,
Well,
we'll hook up. I mean, that's what my understanding.
I never heard a vote of this council.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. No vote itself.
And,
Can't
you
put a vote
know,
on, but
I mean, the mayor
voted on
says,
property with an understanding that something was going to happen.
Yeah, but that also lies in the county's lap too. So I understand. that.
Agreed.
Well, the way I saw it is we agreed to cooperate with them. But this.
If they cooperate with us.
But there are some waivers, there are some requirements that will go along with.
well, there's some, you know, principal differences in what I guess I see. Now, I'm willing to learn. I've been very judgmental of the county because I was mistold at VML twice, 2 different times, that EMS is required by the city or county. And that's not, VML tells me now that's not the case. Towns can do what they want to and city and county can do what they want to. So I'm up here running my mouth, I'm ignorant, which that's not the first and won't be the last time. But the point is, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I want to meet with them today. I don't really know what their challenges are. What I see is that 90% of their budget goes to the school board, and they got a dump and an animal control officer, and they got a staff. And I don't know what else they challenge. I know one. If we don't annex it, this is the problem we got. we're still not, if there's a robbery going on out there and that's in the county,
We're gonna still.
we're gonna send, all right, and this may get out to a shock, but it's the best of my knowledge, and 3 or 4 people that I trust have said there's no deputy on duty at the third shift. So I worry about my father-in-law on Cellar Creek Road, somebody's breaking in. When is a law enforcement officer gonna get there? You got a trooper in Burkeville? I mean, come on, man. That's just, they got him on call. You got a deputy on call.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know about you, but
takes a long time
if
to get
I'm
ready.
asleep in the bed, dead to sleep, and the phone goes off, I mean, I nearby have to have a cup of coffee to get up and go. So I can't imagine, man,
Do
you
we
know?
know by any chance, and obviously it's gonna be a real shot in the dark, just value what the property would be out there? What will it bring us real estate?
Well, we
and
looked
property?
at that. Let's say it's $1 million, okay? You're talking about $3,500, $4,000 a year.
To us.
Yeah.
And what would it bring to the county?
Well, it's irrelevant.
Well, no, it's not, because then that, we can go back to them and say,
Double.
this
No.
is,
They're what, 50 cents, 48 cents, whatever, we're 22 cents. We look
The
at it.
county got theirs on the front end.
But they've already been paid, so irrelevant of the $3 million they've stuck aside now that is probably $20 million sitting in the bank for a rainy day. I'm talking about they were given this land and got a $310,000 check. Now, I don't know what it cost to close, maybe if it, at the best, at the worst case scenario, they got $250,000 handed to them.
you think it costs that much to close?
Well, I'm just saying, at best case scenario, okay? It's just like one time, Colonel Tom told me, or the one before him told me it cost $400,000 to get ready for the fireworks because the grass cut. No, you're going to cut the grass. You're already going to cut the grass. You're already going to do those things, you know. So I'm just saying, but I just think I would like for us to go with one voice.
So we're presenting this.
Well, I think that's
Y'all see
that's
this?
what we're supposed to meet today is to try to convey to each other what we think our revenues and our expenditures are going to be, and what can we do. They've asked for 2% of what they thought was going to be $1 million. It's now going to be at best $80,000.
Yeah, but they don't realize we're the one that's going to be providing all the services and having
That's
all
what
that
we
out
need
of
to
our
talk to.
pocket.
Oh, they realize,
They realize it,
And so
but it's
then-
like Philip said best today. Okay, don't worry about it. Blackstone's going to take care of it. Well, we've done that for I don't know how many years, as long as I can remember. But it's come to the point that you got me by the throat. I can't raise $182,000. It's going to be all we can do with the money we got coming in to take care of the first 5 bullets. Okay, and I'm going to talk to you in just a few minutes about the budget. But anyway, that's where we are. Are you kind of with us? That we say, hey, look, we'll find a way to take care of the first 5 items. You find a way to take care of that fire truck.
So you do wanna take
But our
this today
opening-
and give it to them?
Mr. Chairman, our opening attitude in talking with the county has to be one, yes, we know that this is gonna happen, but it cannot happen by us alone. The answer is no unless you.
Well, My point is, when we were quibbling over dispatching, you know, it was a matter of they wanted us to, you know, if they wanted us to pay 5 cents a head or whatever it was, that was quibbling. This is a matter of I have no way that Philip and I did a quick math on my home, and God has blessed me with a gorgeous home that I pay it's assessed at way on up there. But he told me I would be paying $2,800 a year more in real estate tax to fund that. I can promise you Ward C's gonna eat our lunch. Okay?
Not just Ward C, I mean.
But no, you're right. The entire town are gonna be up here. You gotta be kidding me.
Well,
You gotta be kidding me.
do you think it's right for us to go in and say, we'll take care of the others and we'll give you the last one? I
Well,
mean,
see, here's the thing, in my opinion, and you can differ. This is why I want to get it done now.
Yeah.
That's why we call this at 3:30 instead of 4. The police and the garbage are definitely, without a doubt, they are town functions, okay? And we don't go out of town with police unless that's mutual aid. And of course, there's nobody on this council or in this town of 3,800 lovely people that would want someone in distress in the county. Okay, the garbage, if we go outside and we pick up, okay, these are nearly enterprise funds, okay?
What
The
do you-
fire
do you
department,
think-
dude,
do you
I mean,
think having that out there would pay that $200,000 a year roughly?
I think we're gonna have to talk about maybe this 2% that we've got earmarked for raises over there. That may bridge the gulf, if that's what you're asking. Okay, only thing we can do is take a swag, a scientific wild guess. That's all we can do, right? And we think we're gonna lose some meals tax in town. We're gonna gain maybe, our meals tax may go up a third, which would be 200 grand. Okay? We may generate, between the cigarette tax and the little bit of lodging tax, we may be able to pull this off with this additional 2 pennies on tax dollar. Okay? Maybe. If that's all we have to do is raise two pennies, I think the benefit of having that part of the town, with more people downtown, the more people at Clay's Garden Center, the more people at Green Automotive, the more people at our friends' businesses, I think it's going to outweigh it by far. I think. I don't know. I'm willing to make 1/3 of this committee. I'm willing to say let's really dig in here and find a way that we take care of those 5 bullets. But I can promise you right now, that's a magician when it comes to finance. There's no finding $182,000.
The county's gonna have to find $120,000 a year.
We need, yes, that's the number we've come up with, 125, wasn't it? We're gonna ask for, instead of the $25,000 contribution we've been getting for apparatus, we need 125.
And where'd that come from?
They have a budget committee.
Well, they're gonna have to raise taxes to get it too, probably.
But here's the
Or take it out
problem.
of
When you
reserve.
raise taxes on 17,800 people opposed to 3,650 people,
You get a lot more.
a lot more. So the 3 of us are gonna pay $300 a year instead of us paying $2,700 a year, okay? I mean, that's the only way I see it. It's the only way I see it. So, I mean, you have any disagreement? And I don't mind telling Mr. Vaughn, say, look, with all due respect, we want this to happen. There's no want to this, okay? I mean, it will take a lot of hard work to take care of that stuff with the lack of the lodging tax. But there's no need to sit here and talk about it. The project's not gonna go forward without this ladder truck. I'm willing to tell him that. Now, y'all?
The only thing out of what you said, and I agree with everything, except for let's not go ahead and say we're earmarking what we're getting ready to raise for something that hasn't come forth yet. That's the only thing.
Well, I can tell you something. If you're putting it into what did you call it? Public safety equipment, or what did you call it?
Oh, it's public safety, fire
Rescue
Yeah.
and all that. I'm telling you, with the air packs. All right, let's say we decide that we're going to go to council and leave the two pennies. Which, listen, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah.
We got to come out of here 3-0, and that's how it's got to be. If we decide, here's what I'm trying to get you to understand: air packs are how much? 600 grand. 375. You do this now, you'll be $90,000 ahead of the game before you tackle that. Okay? Then that doesn't count an engine. Now usually we get a grant, but I can't count on that. Okay? If you do get a grant and you've made the provisions, then we need to have this money. We need to have a fund just for fire and safety. So if we get in a bind and we need a couple police cars, we don't have to scramble around here and borrow money. There's money in there. So that would be what I would suggest. Okay, we'll get to a vote on that in a minute. But anyway, we want to make sure we're prepared. We're not looking at each other funny when we go over there and talk to Mr. Vaughn and Mr. Simmons. Okay? Sam? Eric?
You're good.
Okay. I'll let you take your
I don't
agenda.
even know if I would tell them a figure, to be honest. I'd want to hear it from them to begin with.
Bear in mind one other thing, Eric. The alternative in not doing this whole project would be that we would retain 50% premium on sewer and water. However, the law would prohibit us from using that money for a fire truck
Right.
or a police car. It's got to go back into the sewer system.
Because
I think the law prohibits you from doing
I think so. I think out of town, the premium part,
that. What we've established as a matter of policy is that portion of it by town council and finance committee had done that. I think the issue that we have is the same one that happened in Fairfax County, is when you're charging folks for that, for services that are 100% for the town, okay? Fairfax County had this big stink eye where they were taking all this huge amount of additional revenues, they were building schools, and for Fairfax City, well, what you gotta be careful of is taxation without representation. I do think, as a matter of policy, using water and sewer needs to stay with water. You got plenty of debt to pay off.
no kidding. We got a $20 million elephant in the
Pay
room.
off that water plant, and I think the issue is if you take it for specific town functions, like the city of Fairfax was doing, building schools, pay off debt schools, that's where you're gonna get.
All right, well, let
But wisely, you don't use it for anything.
brass tacks, okay, I have heard that the mayor is ready to say we don't annex, okay? We still own that. We're gonna
That's
still
not
own that
his
city.
vote. That's not his decision.
That's not his vote. That's not his vote. He can plead his case, but my point is, we're gonna answer fire calls, we're gonna answer police calls. We already know it's a fact that the deputies aren't working midnight shift. I mean, so we're still gonna own this. I'm like you, Eric. I wanna ask Mr. Vaughn to come back to us with a blanket agreement or resolution that that they will support and help us do whatever we need to do for a pleasant boundary adjustment up to our property. Okay? I think Philip would like to go to Arbortech. I think there might be some anxiety about that, but I know for a fact that 10 six-figure income gentlemen flew in here on Gulfstreams today because I loaned them vehicles to look at that, and they may move Connecticut here. And they're not $8 an hour jobs out there. They're $30 an hour jobs to start with. So, we'd be foolish not if we're going to do a boundary adjustment. And we'd also be foolish not to take the east side of the road you go out the main gate, and the western portion is Virginia Tech. The eastern portion is the county. We'd be ignorant not to take that, because there's going to be a Wawa or a Sheetz on that corner. There's no telling what's going to be up there. Branch Bank, there's no telling. It could be another city. It could end up being another town. It's not big enough for a city, but nevertheless, I would like to see the county offer us a resolution or something that lets us know we have their blessing for that before we can go any further. So those are the two things that I'm going to try to explain to Mr. Vaughn, and I'm going to tell him 3 times. This is not a bargaining chip. This is where we are. This is the best we can do. Mr. Manager, do you see how we can raise $182,000 a year? Otherwise,
And failure to reach a solution to this can only have one answer, and that's no.
right.
We're not saying no. We want to say yes.
We also,
You have to help solve the problem.
right, and we also need to ask the developer to pay any expense we incur to connect. Now, if that means we've got a pump, Philip will be a lot better. Philip will do the explaining of that. I just want to know
I
where.
mean, they would pay, isn't that their,
I mean, standard wise, we just wanna make sure if Rocky Bone Pump Station needs to have an impeller change, and I don't know what it may, maybe nothing.
yeah.
Maybe nothing needs to be done. Obviously, the line extensions are there if necessary, but if anything needs to be done to pump stations or in force mains to upgrade or upsize, that logic, and that is a standard practice, like Mark Lane.
Sewage
brought up in
pumps.
the meeting.
Sewage pumps are rated on 2 different items: gallons per minute and the size of the solids they'll handle. Okay, so if you've got that complex raises the standard to 2-inch solids, and we've got a 1-inch solid pump, you could change the impeller and change it. Okay,
You know pumps. You know
I do. I know wastewater treatment pumps. So,
Something like that needs to happen, that logically their responsibility.
right. So usually garbage
Now,
wastewater pumps you don't worry about pressure. You worry about volume and solids.
would roads within the facility be
100% there.
Yeah,
theirs.
yeah, and then we wouldn't take care of any parking lots, but they'll do the inlets, and then we'll maintain those, it's in our right of way.
Now, we're just talking about one phase right now. I wouldn't anticipate there being any public streets included. The one thing you may want to think about long-term is whether you want to include that Route 40 right-of-way. I think the mayor's talking about a traffic circle and some other things right there. Is that, do you want to potentially use the north side of the right-of-way on 40 or the south side of the right-of-way? And that's just something to keep in mind. Do y'all want-
I'd like to annex all of it. I mean, or boundary adjust all of it, or have, like I said, a resolution, or to have a blank check from the county so that we can protect the town.
I think we should go to the airport. I mean, I've said that since
Well, I do too.
Philip and I
I do
listened.
too.
I said,
No
Yeah,
question.
The only reason Arbortech would make sense is to look at the billing. They may like it because water and sewer bills would go down
Yeah.
dramatically, but
and your
I wouldn't
real
question
estate tax wouldn't be much.
No.
Gain
Tax
for
is
that.
pretty low, yeah.
I mean, so,
That may be a benefit to Arbortech, actually.
Yeah.
And, but
Well, we can get down that road, but those are the three things that I want to get across to them. Y'all have anything else that we need to talk
I
about?
would say, well, we'll talk.
I just wanna push one thought, and I've said it 1,000 times, and you're getting tired of listening. Attitude during this whole thing is of primary importance. If the mayor gets up and, we're gonna give you everything you want right away, and that's the way, and that's the way the table is set.
I will
That's the way
scratch
that's the way attitudes get.
I will squelch it. I can tell you that right now.
Well,
I
I mean,
will scratch
is
it.
this is just a budget committee meeting?
That's
right?
correct, but he's an ex officio member of this committee. And it's public.
I would
Now-
say, I was gonna say, I'm not gonna mention what, but I would say we want, on Dominic Corner Road, you would wanna include that section of county property on the left.
Yeah, I want, yes. Yeah. So it's my intention is to call our meeting to order and to turn the chair over to Mr. Vaughn. Okay? You have a problem with that, or do you want me to run the meeting?
I just wouldn't give numbers, because they may come back and say,
What numbers you wouldn't give them?
I wouldn't give them any numbers.
Okay,
And until they say, well, we don't wanna give you much, and then we go, well, look, this is what we want.
okay, all right,
Why don't you keep the meeting and you head it in your direction?
okay.
And you let them respond to the questions rather
Yeah,
than.
cause I
set
can't
the
see
stage.
it going anywhere with them.
Oh, this is not gonna be, oh, we'll get it done for you, okay? They
No,
just
but
need a
you got-
reality pill that we
But
don't,
if you keep control, then
Okay.
you can ask for answers.
okay, that's fine with me, all right? Any other, you good? You got us where you want us to be? Okay,
we'll make sure that if there's any big pump station changes, we're covered. If we do a boundary adjustment, we're not gonna fight and go to court, spend a bunch of money to do that.
And that they are in agreement that they will be upgrading our
Yes.
lines or
Yes.
whatever.
And then if there's any, fire apparatus that's required, which I think that universally said, coming down the road, I mean, the fire department's already requested it,
Yeah.
and, that they're gonna participate in the purchase of those, that's the biggest.
that's fine. Okay, so we'll jump around, let's talk about the budget. Have you had time to go over this budget here? I think Mr. Moncur and I are satisfied with it. Do you have any questions, or?
I've looked at it. I didn't bring it, but yeah,
Okay.
I've looked at it.
All right, so,
Sam brought it to me.
okay, yeah, I asked him to, I was real busy. This is what I would like to do. I'm gonna ask for discussion about removing the pay increases, but leaving in the two pennies in light of what we have out here. With the caveat of, if nothing happens out here and we don't need the money, that next year, we'll do next year's budget, then we remove those 2 pennies,
2 pennies, about $32,000.
okay? That's my request, and I'm listening now for your response,
No, you're good.
okay?
But
You know, one thing we haven't discussed, or haven't brought up, this whole thing is, we're talking about phase 1. If there's a phase 2, 3, 4, these figures could be a drop in the bucket to what.
but hopefully you're gonna be getting more revenue as well from each of those phases.
I need to
you
ask a
get
stupid
4
question
new restaurants out there. And
after they finish their discussion.
But are you
I
gonna
need to ask a stupid question.
are you gonna have 4 more restaurant worth of people? They've got only so many people they're
to
gonna
pull
put in the
from.
school.
Yeah.
If we agree to, we come to an agreement on the items we've talked about and the documents that we desire, and they go ahead with phase one, are we locked in for ever how many phases, or can we make
I
this?
think you have an obligation.
Okay.
I don't think.
I don't
I mean,
think
once
you slide out of it.
once phase one's there, I mean, besides having more garbage to pick up, which I think one crew could handle.
It's
However,
water, it's the
It's the sewer.
It's the
It's the
sewer.
sewer, it's a nightmare.
yeah,
One garbage truck does it, one ladder truck does it.
4 police officers
Yeah,
covers that.
yeah, I mean,
I think your show is when you go back for more sewer. And
Yeah.
maybe at that time, we can work out something with the guard, come up with a plan that works with the guard, that we don't have to,
Yeah.
you got $100,000 a year, if you take the guard's plan, you gotta eat 100 something, okay? But maybe you're making so daggone much money in utilities that that's not the big deal, or we start fixing some of these problems.
But before they build a
these
phase
I&I
2,
problems.
Why not?
before they build a phase 2, wouldn't they have to get confirmation from us that we have enough water? I
Well,
mean,
that was what the
they
letter
can't
was
just
that
come
came
up
from
and-
Nottaway County, please confirm the availability of sewer and water, and that letter's never gone out. But they closed on it in the paper, so I think there's some expectation from our meeting at Oak Club last time, that, and I'm kinda with you, I think that they took that, whether it was correct or not.
yeah.
But I think they ran with it and called Gomez and said, hey.
Yeah, I think-
get water too.
I think that they're figuring we meet today and we're going to give them 2% of, or 2% or whatever of the lodging tax, and that's our deal. To be honest, I think that's where it's leading
I
to.
think they're farther along than you guys are.
Yeah.
As
I
far as making
think,
a
I think
commitment.
looking at this stuff today, they're going to look at us and go, where the
Well,
hell?
then they may have to do something different, because there's no way without the
The
lodging
only thing
tax.
I see that wasn't talked about last time was the actual purchase of fire apparatus.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the boundary adjustment, they knew about that.
Oh, yeah.
Them
They
paying
said
with
that
tobacco money
when you
to
and I met out
upgrade
there.
the plant, that's covered. I mean, that's not a problem. It's standard stuff when a developer comes in, and I've got to upgrade the impellers by 18 micrograms or whatever it is. Yeah, no problem. I don't see anything, the fire truck purchase is the one thing that was a little wild card from what the last time. And I don't think it's an unreasonable discussion. Just sit back and say, we need some help with this stuff.
And the air packs have been with us
That's
anyway.
y'all's
All
already,
right.
I mean,
Another dumb question for informational purposes that you can answer, Mr. Nash. Y'all, your charter calls for, is it 50 or 60 members?
50 unless they've increased
And,
it.
and you probably got 57? Is that what it is?
When you include,
Somebody behind
yeah,
it.
probably. Yeah, we've probably got, I'd say 55.
All right, let's say, I mean, if we decide with all this activity out here, that, 75 is a more appropriate number, because you've got 6 hotels and 9 restaurants and blah, blah, blah. Look at the turnout gear, and look at the fire packs, and look at the air packs, you know what I'm saying? So we always gotta keep that in mind, that, growing-
That's the reason I brought up phase 2, 3, 4.
right. But my question has unfortunately been answered. Once we sign this, they're pretty much pay a tap fee and we hook them up.
And they're assuming we're gonna keep up with the flow.
Right.
Well, and I think if they go to build a phase 2, I think it would be courtesy, I would think. And I think it's common that they would say, hey, do we have enough water flow left in the town of Blackstone?
but keep in mind one thing, the town of Blackstone has already done it. So whether this hotel comes, when this project comes, something's ultimately gonna make you go get more flow.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a different hotel inside the town limits, because our ordinance says the town shall connect you only. So,
In the corporate limits.
in the corporate limits, we're obligated,
So once we take that in,
you're obligated.
then we're obligated. So that's why I say I would like to
Well,
get an
that's-
agreement.
I mean, we heard from John himself say that he would be an ally for us and do whatever he needs to talk to the
Yeah,
adjutant
maybe the
general.
guard is the best solution. Right now, I don't think that's the best solution cost-wise. Now, the next phase, when B&B comes back and says, your debt service will be $227,000 a year or whatever to do this, maybe the guard's idea is a whole lot better,
Yeah.
But we gotta wait. Right now, I don't think that's the best direction to go. But it may be for the next phase.
I mean, has John and the county exhausted all of their way? I don't know. Have they even contacted the adjutant general like they
I
said
have
they would?
Communicated with John that, of the cost estimates so they can fill out their tobacco application. I have met with the adjutant general, or not the adjutant general, I have met with the colonel, and we ain't made very much progress, so,
But John offered himself that he
we don't
would.
need it right now.
Yeah,
I heard
but,
y'all
I
had
mean,
a shouting match.
Huh?
I heard y'all had a shouting match. Your relationship is not rosy at the moment.
I don't know where you heard that from.
I wouldn't say that we don't need him to go ahead and, I mean, why don't we get him to go ahead and talk to the adjutant general and say, hey, and get ahead of the game instead of,
I don't think you got a prayer of doing anything until you give them the water bill they want. And it's blackmail. I mean, and I'm not condoning the guard or the colonel or anyone else. I mean, they've got a job to do. We've got a job to do. The colonel's, his best interest of that post is what his job is. Mine's the best interest of the 3,700
And you
people in
got
town.
one chip to play.
Yeah, that's right. Like we do.
That's right.
Like we got
They
one chip to
infinite
play.
amount
Right.
of play. We got one chip to
We
play.
got to get this reserve percentage. Here's the thing that scares me. Blackstone could easily be another Colonial Heights. I'm telling you right now, it horrifies me when Senator Warner told Billy and I, you need to be careful about what you don't want, son. There's no telling if we'd have got that OLF here, we might have had some 3-star admirals down here asking us if we want Oceana here. Okay? All right? So the possibilities are, and that's the only chip we got. The problem is you're giving 3/4 of the capacity of that plant. Is that what it is?
It's a deep gulf.
Yeah, so if you go to a 2 million you got to go to a 10 million gallon plant, and they get 750, they get 7.5 million of it.
No, they only get 3/4 of the existing.
Of the
Of the existing. So
Not
any
of whatever.
more okay, great, I feel
We
better.
would get the rest of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they wouldn't get a percentage of what we add.
Okay, so if you had to build a $2 million auxiliary plant, all of that would be
That
ours.
wouldn't need it, they're not even using,
Okay. Okay, well, I feel better about that. All right.
but I can tell you, any increases in flow, the colonel has committed himself to not participate in the cost of any increases in capacity.
All right. Well, that's a battle for another day. We've got a budget before us. I make a motion that we present the budget as we have in front of us, with the exception of transferring the funds from the 2 pennies on the tax rate from proposed police increase in salary to a fund for fire and safety equipment. You gonna die for the lack of a second?
No, I'm sitting here thinking if that's exactly what we want to word it, No, I don't like keeping the 2 cents in, but I think maybe we need to.
Well, I mean, either way, it's in the advertisement now.
Yes.
I mean, so it's really a moot point. I mean, we've already got what we recommended.
Well, before I saw these staggering numbers, I was gonna ask y'all today, let's tell council,
So take it out.
take it out, but, I mean, I'm looking at air packs and fire engines and now a ladder truck.
You see air packs, and I don't know whether to laugh or cry, because I've been yelling air
Well-
packs for 3 years.
So that's where I'm saying,
Known about 'em, yeah.
I'm saying we ought to leave it in there for nothing else but air packs. Okay? So you gonna second the cotton picking motion or not?
Yes.
All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Is there any decline? All right. So we'll present this to council. We have 30 minutes. You have a meals tax letter you want to discuss today?
Send it out ASAP.
Yes.
You good with it?
Do we need to, y'all need to make a motion to council so we can send it out?
I move that we
Or can we-
recommend to council that this letter be executed to all of our restaurants within the corporate limits of Blackstone.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll be recommending that to council. The procurement,
I mean, you've got it ready, I mean, to where you can do it quick.
yep.
I think we'll see an increase, to be honest.
I think as soon as they get their letter.
As soon as they get, the next month, you're gonna see.
All right.
We've got some things we're gonna segregate certain things, but we'll get good at it.
Yeah.
We'll be
All right.
able to figure it out.
Procurement,
I want to commend y'all on doing this.
I do too.
I've been remiss, and, I've been crying for a year that we haven't that we've been late getting it going. We've missed the boat, kind of. But we've done a good job, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep. Thank you,
Now
Jennifer.
I'm
Thank you,
done.
thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for all your hard
Hey,
work.
hey, can you kick him from where you are?
Oh, God.
Hey, look, we all know where the work's coming from.
Oh, my God. Procurement policy.
All right.
This is basically what we're doing now. And this is something that has been requested for now for 2 years by our auditor. The first year we didn't do it because we have a procurement policy in place, but the auditor doesn't like it. What we have is a resolution by the town council, back when Jimmy Harris was the mayor, that says the town will follow state procurement policy, but he's not satisfied with that. He wants it actual specific to the town. So we have written down what exactly we do already and provided it to him. We did not change the $10,000 limit for the purchases without council approval, because I think that's actually in the charter or in the code of the town. And so we've left that figure to be.
Has Tessie looked at this document? Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay, I think, let's see, if we act on this today, she can get this in the council package, right?
This plan?
Okay.
I move to submit to council
Second.
for approval.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, sounds like y'all,
I will share with you on procurement, we're gonna have, as soon as this thing's adopted, we're gonna sit down with the staff, and I think we do pretty good on bidding. But we're gonna do better on bidding, and we got more funds, and it'll fall heavily upon the shoulders of the fire department and police department, and all those kind of things, where people are doing their own bid getting, and we gotta explain to them, you can't buy $700 worth of batteries without getting through prices. Is it galls, whatever, I do them online.
Yeah.
Flagpole prices online.
Yeah,
But the
it's
guys
the
have
quick and
gotta-
easy way to do it.
And I know they're volunteers, but it's gonna fall on the shoulders of those guys, make sure the police is getting them. And a lot of the stuff we can do. Now, there's been a big hiccup recently about us not using local businesses. If you guys remember, you weren't on council at the time, but you guys were, Mr. Eden made a motion that we give consideration to local business. And Tessie gave us an opinion and said, you can't do that. You can't give a consideration simply because they're local. They've got
You can't
a
give them an
license.
extra advantage because of it.
And there's a lot of gnashing of teeth, and I can tell you, we kind of keep stuff local. I mean, if we had somebody doing nothing, working at EVA and eBay and all,
Yeah.
then we could save gobs and more money.
Now, I will
And
say,
buy nothing local
when it
product.
comes to, I mean, you're talking about taking the low bid and stuff. When it comes to services and stuff I think we should look, at our janitor. Doing much better job. Yeah, we're paying more,
Actually, I don't know if we're paying a whole lot more.
but it's our new it's our actual 10 employee now. So that's, but
It wasn't good. It wasn't good for a while.
yeah.
It wasn't good.
So
let me ask you something. We contract out, I know why we contract out medical center grass cutting, because we turn around and pass through to Buzz Court. But who's cutting the grass at the tavern and at the museum?
Down there. Please let me contact everything we got.
Man, I'll tell you
I'll
what,
never cut another blade of grass. if you
that's the
guys do
nastiest looking, the place looks horrible. It generally looks horrible.
I haven't ridden by there. I don't know what it looks like, to be honest.
There
Bring to
is,
you a proposal to privatize all grass cutting in the town of Blackstone.
not the cemetery though, you can't,
No, we can. Oh, yes, you can.
all right?
You can. Now, I don't know if you're gonna do it cheap. I don't know if you do it cheaply, but you can contract it out. You can get somebody to work in there nonstop as a contractor. The issue I have is if you got a Friday night, when the family's getting ready to have a funeral on Saturday, how do I pick up the phone and call John Ward?
Well,
Man,
you
need
just
to
put
get
it in
somebody
your contract with the understanding.
You have no argument with me. I'd be more than happy. If you
In a
want
perfect
that-
world, I'd like you to see you leave Winston in the cemetery.
Huh?
In a perfect world, I'd like to see you, but then we need to pick, like 4 or 5 locations, like Sea Park, Library, Schwartz Tavern, the Carriage Museum and things like that, and something that you can ride by and call and get someone on the phone
Mhm.
and get it taken care of, because, we got wayfinding signs and stuff to that museum and to those 2 museums, and there's times when it just looks, and I can't tell you how much I appreciated it. I called her one morning and told her of 4 or 5 places.
Mhm.
We went over there and did Citizens Bank, and it actually looked worse than it did before. I mean, the Citizens Bank at the corner of 40 and 46.
Mhm.
And, you know, we bush hogged it and left a swipe through there, sides of those chairs that was this feet, you know. I saw you doing the Huddle House. Did you just do it for as a good neighbor? Because they cut it, it looked like a drunk with a 16-foot bush hog did it. Am I right? That's what, I mean, it was worse than it was. I haven't been over it since. Did you just finish it?
What? Huddle
You
House?
finish Huddle House? Yeah. I
you
mean,
went
they did a third of the Huddle House.
Who?
Whoever cut it. I ain't never seen nothing like it, man.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know
I
if
saw
we
it
did it or
get-
we did not do it. I don't know what to do.
Somebody did it, but like I said, it took a 16-foot bush hog, you know, which you can't do trim work with, right?
Mm.
They made 3 passes through it.
You might have covered bush up.
My point is, dude, there was more. They cut half the grass, and that's the way it looked.
Well, I mean, I guess when you talk about right of ways, but one that got me the other day, and I was confronted with it by, of course, Walter Mack, but it did look right rough. Our town square, I don't know what they cut it with, but holy cow! I mean, it must have been a lawnmower that had a blade 5 inches lower than what one side was. I don't. And at some point, you know, it's common sense, but I think it's that a lot of them don't care.
The
And
whole
that's,
thing makes me nutty, and I'll be honest with you, if I can present you with a proposal, it's gonna mean a lot of position changes and a lot of upset folks. I've been battling with it.
well,
for
when you
6
say
years.
position changes, it'd be less positions, and that's,
Far fewer positions.
yes.
Well, I can tell you right now. I told you that council will sit up here in 20 years from now, and you may have 6 full-time employees. That's
The
where we're
intention
going.
would be that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
the plan
I'm all
would be-
in. I'm all in. I just don't know about the cemetery. You know.
Let them need.
Okay.
All right?
Well,
You ready?
if I remember correctly, I'm the one that made a motion that passed 7-0 to let you do your job. That you could make proposals to
Oh,
us
yeah.
and, you know, so yeah.
You know where I'm at. You and I've talked about this 100 times.
So
You
it's just
don't,
the
you,
grass
huh?
or the leaves?
No, this doesn't need to be on record. He's just
He just,
doing his job.
yeah, we're not voting or
I'm
anything.
gonna bring you a proposal then.
That's right. You can bring it
I
to
love
us.
Thank you.
Bring it to us so we can back you.
Okay.
Instead of
Maybe-
springing it on the council.
I'm stuck in the office this year, and I'm not out and about and doing stuff and weeds and.
I'll tell you what you do. I'll tell you what you do. You decide which, is it finance or is it building ground and cemetery? You decide. I think you'd be better if you can figure out a way it comes to us. Because we'll tell you yes or no and go with it.
We absolutely need to privatize more ground.
Okay.
100%.
I mean,
You need seasonal, part-time folks to supplement your what's going on. You may need like 3 summer people, and then maybe a couple guys during the leaf season to supplement that. I don't know how you. I haven't figured out how you subsidize or you privatize the leaf getting up because we finish this block and then people put them back out. So it.
does the
You know.
grass cutting that the town provides, do we go a little overboard in some places? I mean, for instance, over on Nottaway Avenue, you go underneath the bridge and you go around the sharp turn. We cut that whole embankment. Is that all the way up on that embankment? I mean, on the left,
I
as
don't
you're
know.
going towards
I know
Nottaway.
the grassy areas there under the railroad
Yeah,
going
correct.
back to where
Yeah,
the
I know we do
sidewalk
that.
stops.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little places like that,
Oh,
and
yeah,
if we don't
it
cut
is.
them, in front of Family Dollar.
Then nobody
If we
will.
don't go cut them, guess what?
Is that town right away?
I think it's on town right away partially, but I think the majority of where those trees are planted, that's all Family Dollar.
Well,
But the
now
grass,
that we've got the ordinance in,
that-
I'd say the town quit cutting it and you call Family Dollar and send them the letter.
we,
Any other business for the committee?
Hmm?
Any other business for the committee? Gentlemen, do you have any more business for the committee? I'll adjourn the meeting at 4:24. Now talk, you gotta cut us off.
All right, are
We off?